The future looks like to me where Dabba, the model you've taken, this kind of hands-off, dashboard approach to DePIN, becomes the standard. You guys are trendsetters. I think that more DePINs will look to Dabba, especially after TGE and especially after they see all these hotspots deployed and how successful you are, and say, oh wow, we should do something similar like to what they're doing, because you've created a way to provide so much value at like no friction. Like there's almost zero friction. Like, and I'm blown away by that.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Chai and Wi-Fi Podcast, where we talk to people from DePIN, Web3, and everywhere in between. Today we are joined by none other than William. We all know William from the DePIN Spaces on Twitter, from the community. He's been an OG in the Dabba community for quite a while now. I'm quite excited to interview the one who usually interviews us. It's going to be a fun time. So how's it going, William? Great to have you here.
It's going good, man. Really happy to be here. I love everything. I love everything Dabba. Love everything Chai too. I remember that the cup of tea that we shared in consensus. Yeah, haven't looked back, man. Been a part of the Dabba community since.
Yeah, and it's been an extreme pleasure. I mean, just from initial conversations, and also seeing kind of your growth also over the last nearly 2 years now, right? Just from being a DePIN enthusiast to jumping into communities, talking to people, creating content, now hosting spaces. It's been an incredible journey for you as well.
It has, honestly. I never thought I would be in the position I'm in. Super, super grateful. I definitely saw that there was a need to kind of be a talking head in this space, because especially when it comes to DePIN, like, and I hate saying this, and I know we all hate saying this, but one, we're really, really early, and two, it is evident by the amount of lack of understanding in the space. And even when I talk to Web3 like regulars, like people who have just been like native, I guess you can call them crypto natives, they still don't really truly grasp how much of an effect DePIN will have on the world.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much to dive in that, and we're going to get into all of it. I'm super excited. But before that, for the community, for those of you who don't know who William is, tell us a bit about yourself. What has your journey been? How did you get into Web3 and DePIN? Give us the rundown.
Okay, I guess I'll give you my sob story. So let's take it back to, I guess, 2016, 2017. I kind of I don't first discover Bitcoin and Ethereum. I know of what they are, really. I don't really mess with them, though. I'm just kind of like sitting there saying, oh, like what are these things? I don't really understand them. And then 2021 comes around. I'm streaming on Twitch. I'm a big video game guy, if no one knew. I love video games. Grew up with them my whole life. And I kind of form a little community on there. I meet a lot of people. And I met particularly these two musicians on there. Shout out Buck, you guys are awesome, love you too. And I'm watching their stream, and then Kobe, I don't know if you know who Kobe is. He would basically like stream live on Twitch and then go raid musicians' streams, both streaming live, and Kobe raids their stream, and then they get them to download MetaMask like live on stream and say, hey, download this application. And I'm sitting here watching, thinking like, what's MetaMask, like what's going on here? And they end up giving my friends like a quarter of a million dollars, pretty much. Wow. Yeah, live on stream. Yeah, in crypto. And they're freaking out. They don't know what it is. Like, they're like, what is this? Oh, my God. And it was like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Like, these people who have worked hard, their entire life doing what they love, like living their passion, and it kind of finally paying off in that moment. But that was like the light bulb moment for me, where I was like, oh, like there's something here. Like, this is a beautiful act of kindness. I want to see more. And so I downloaded MetaMask. I fell down the NFT rabbit hole. I fell down the crypto rabbit hole like wholeheartedly. But was like completely sold on the idea. Got into Web3 gaming a little bit. And after that, though, I think the bear market hit around 2022, 2023. And I remember being like, okay, wait a minute. Like, what am I here for? I kind of reevaluated my wants and like kind of my purpose here. And then I discovered DePIN. and I discovered tokenized assets, and really thought about stable coins as like a truly like extraordinary thing. It kind of like the light bulb moment really clicked for me. And so yeah, I dove into DePIN, and then I haven't looked back, man. It's been an incredible journey. Just, you know, one, farming DePINs has been awesome, but two, just like making content around it. I make like a lot of funny videos. I noticed there wasn't a lot of like humorous content online about DePINs. Yeah. And so I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, like, what's the best way to reach an audience that knows nothing about your product and is not very technical? They're very, you know, high level. They want to just know, like, what this thing does. I just thought comedy, you know, humor. Humor is a great tool. Yeah, I just started making content, edutainment videos, and trying to be kind of a talking head that translates complex ideas to a broader audience that may not understand it. So that's pretty much my journey.
That's an amazing journey, and what I really love about that journey is there's this constant attachment to utility and how you perceive that, right? From, you know, your friends streaming something, and then you're seeing that, oh, they can easily get money. You know, it's not like a Western Union transfer or something.
Oh, God. I hate Western Union. So terrible.
Right? And you know, you're seeing that utility, and then you come to DePIN and you see even more utility. And I think that's a great way to onboard people just into Web3, right? Just showing them, hey, life is so much easier when you use these type of tools, right? It just makes life so much easier. So that's an amazing story.
And it's funny you mentioned like utility, because I got my dad on this stuff now. Like my whole family's pretty much almost onboarded, like to where if someone's like, hey, I'll Venmo you, I'm like, no, just send me some USDC on Solana.
Just makes life easier. I mean, I think that's the way you onboard more people into Web3, right? Just show them utility over hype, and people just start using. It's just so much more.
Hey, when my dad gets Bitcoin cash back in his wallet, he's like super happy. He's like, oh, dude, I got so much Bitcoin cash back on my credit card. Thanks, son. And I'm like, I got you, man.
That must be crazy, hearing your parents talk about Bitcoin and Web3 applications.
Yeah. No, they still don't understand it at all. They just know that it goes up. They see number go up and they're happy. That's all they care about. I tell them about things like, you know, like Dabba and helium, and they get the idea. When I tell them like what Dabba does, for instance, and like why it's so important, the light bulb really clicks on for them, and they're like, oh my goodness, that's genius. They're like, how come no one's ever done that before? And I was like, I don't know, Dad. Like, this is an incredible idea. And then like he even helps me out with my helium hotspots sometimes. Like he goes out and like pitches for me to businesses. Like he'll just be like at a restaurant and he's like, you know what you should have in here? Better cell phone service. You should talk to my son. And then I get a random phone call and I'm like, hello? And they're like, oh, your dad like told us to call you. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, even yesterday I was talking to someone about a helium installation, and it was a restaurant owner I go to, and he was like, oh, so how much are you going to charge me for this service? And I said, no, I give you money. And he goes like this, oh, he just goes, we should talk. And I'm like, yeah, let's keep talking about this.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, especially about what DePINs especially have brought into Web3, right? And you touch base on that you're able to, like, imagine, you know, explaining NFTs and meme coins and the value of those.
I tried.
To, like,
my grandma like lost it, like completely. You know, it sounds like a crypto scam, and you're like, no, it's not a crypto scam. There's value here.
Exactly. And then the moment you bring in DePIN, I mean, I don't like to say the word Web 2, but you have this traditional business model that generally people understand, and then you say, hey, by the way, Web3 and crypto, then they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know,
yeah, the usual pushback I get on it is like, why token? You know, and I explain the whole like early incentive building and everything. I explain it somewhat kind of like equity in a company, if you will. That's like the way I describe it to them, and then they kind of make sense to them. But then I explain the velocity of money in crypto and like how much quicker like capital moves, and then they instantly go, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Like, I'm like, yeah, dude, imagine the blockchain being like your accountant, where everything's like much cheaper, and you can like schedule automatic payments to, you know, via smart contracts, and you don't have to fiddle with that anymore. And they're like, oh wow, that actually sounds genius.
Yeah, and that's a great thing, right? Like, you introduce them to something they're already familiar with, and kind of relate to that. Which comes to the next part I want to talk about, which is, your journey through content and how that fits into DePIN. Because in a lot of ways, DePIN isn't really sexy to a lot of people. Whereas you have these massive communities in NFT projects and meme coin projects. And I remember talking to you in Consensus, and like, yes, we need more people like that, especially in the DePIN space, not doing technical, content, but just like you said, like creative, educational content. So talk to us a little bit about that. Tell us, like, why do you think that is so important, especially in the DePIN space?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head, right? I mean, it's just a lot of people aren't very technical. Like, a majority of the world knows what JavaScript is, but they don't know how to write JavaScript. Like if I said, oh yeah, there's a program or there's like a language out there that builds these web apps, people kind of get the idea. But then when you show them a bunch of JavaScript code, they say, I don't know what this is. What are you showing me? And so that's kind of like the disconnect I see in the space is we're so focused on like the back end, like as blockchain enthusiasts, as crypto enthusiasts, we love the tech, we love the technology, we understand the technology. That's why we're here. But the rest of the world doesn't get it. And so if I introduce it to them, via analogous like content or like a kind of examples, we talked about before, mentioning that blockchain is like an accountant. Or like, kind of giving them real world examples, real world use cases where I'm like, hey, if I put this helium hotspot inside your business, you get better phone service. That's like an instant benefit to them because everyone uses a phone. Everyone understands a phone and everyone knows the struggle of bad phone service because we've all been there. And I say, hey, listen, I can solve that problem. I can solve that pain if I just install this device inside your business. And also it makes money. And they go, okay, that's a win-win. Why would I ever say no? Especially exactly. a mass majority. So the way my content journey has really gone is I just love being funny. I'm like, I don't know, I just love making people smile, making people laugh. I try to be ridiculous and goofy because this space is so serious sometimes. Yeah. And so you have to kind of infuse it very creatively. It's very, very tough, man. I write like 50 drafts sometimes before I like get a good like script going. And I'm just like, oh no, that's too edgy. Or no, like that's too funny. Oh, that this is just funny enough. This would be really perfect and relatable. And yeah, it's tough, but I try to make it so that the humor is there, but it's not all fun and games, but like it's also not super boring. It's really hard. It's like you have to advertise the utility while also being hilarious. And it's like, so it's a very tough tightrope to walk down, but if you hit, it hits big. It's like hitting black on roulette if it hits black, and you're just like, oh my God, I hit big. You get tons of views, tons of engagement. And so I really do this for the people, man. I want to see people learn. I love seeing the comments below my videos going, oh my God, I thought this was hilarious, or oh, I understand what this is now. Like, I love seeing those. And so I do it for that. I do it for the people to see and understand and just like, again, laugh and bring this community a little closer together. So the journey's been pretty intense, man. But I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy I'm still grinding and iterating. I got some more videos planned out with my dog, DePIN dog. Nice. That's what I called her. Yeah, I'm trying to incorporate her into more videos. She's really shy though, so we'll see.
We'll get some treats to kind of
some Dabba treats.
Out there. Some Dabba treats, yeah.
Yeah, some Chai treats.
Nice. That is such an amazing perspective that you have, and I just love the approach of creating content that's relatable. And if you can hit that nail, then that piques interest, right? And then people will naturally be like, oh, I need to understand more about this. How did he do that? How can I also have that, right?
Yep.
You want people to kind of think on those lines and go down their own rabbit holes, right? You just need to coax them into it.
Yeah. Have understand it. Like they catch on to the main idea. And that's why, like with Dabba, for instance, the videos I've made for Dabba, it's been more, I've been targeting the audience that like does these manual deployments, and they get so upset and so frustrated. And it's like, and I'm doing them too, man. It's tough. It's really tough. You get rejected all the time. You have to go out and talk to so many people, and no one understands it. And they say, oh, that sounds like a scam. I'm good. And then when you're installing the things, you run into problems and problems and problems and problems. And I'm just like, man, Dabba Network is like that on easy mode. I'm just like, I just got to press a button, and then like I just give my credit card or send my wallet address, and bam, I'm ready to go. I'm all set. I have a little dashboard, and I'm just like, dude, DePIN deployers would love to see this. And so I just like started making content about that. But it's exactly to your point. You got to stay relatable.
Excellent. Yes, I completely understand. I mean, that's kind of the approach we've been taking with our content as well, and you see the results, right? Moving on to, you're talking about deployments, and I want to talk a little bit about your exposure to DePIN, right? Because, the number of times you have talked about your house just overflowing with hardware.
You don't want to see
right?
this wall. Yeah, you don't want to see this wall right now. It's covered. My wife hates it.
I mean, the struggle that we all have in this industry. So my question is this, especially as a DePIN OG and someone who's been in the industry, has maybe burnt themselves a bit on certain projects or made gains on certain projects. What can you tell the community about what to look for? What are the good signals, bad signals? How do you make good decisions about joining one of these projects or participating in one of these projects?
Yeah, so I guess the first red flags I always get are if the word DePIN is thrown around a lot and they're focused on the token in any kind of announcements. Like where like like being focused on the token isn't bad necessarily, but when like all the announcement posts on the page are about the token and all the announcement pages like use DePIN willy-nilly, it becomes kind of like, okay, wait a minute, what is this? Is this all marketing? Like, what's going on? Like, they're just talking about their token a lot. Where's the utility? Whereas, a green flag, like a good thing for me, is when utility is spoken about a ton. When the focus is on meeting the demand that is perceived, or building up, or like kind of adding on to a network that may not be fully developed, and you're like, hey, listen, like in Silencio's case, like I'm wearing the hat right here. They're attacking the noise pollution market and saying, hey, listen, there's value here, and we want to add more value to it. I would say a green flag, something to look for in any DePIN project, is that they are talking about the market that they are addressing more so than the token that is being provided, or they're creating that linear path of, hey, you buy these hotspots with Dabba, we install them for you in India, you help a ton of Indians get connected to the internet, and then you get rewarded. And like that is a clear message, and I love that. Whereas sometimes you see a DePIN slapped on these random projects, and you're just like, how is that a DePIN? What is that? DePIN vapes, DePIN smartphones, DePIN, like I don't know. Like I could talk forever about it. I don't want to shout out any call out any specific projects, but I don't know. It's really tough. So my first thing is definitely for anyone listening that's new to DePIN, definitely look for clear value prop. You want to have clear value prop. Secondly, just make sure the team is extremely active. Like if you want founders that are like showing their faces a lot. You want people that are in front of the camera a lot, talking a lot. Like you have Karam, you have yourself, Don. Like you guys are always in front of the camera and you're always present and you're always there for conversations and you're always replying and you're always posting. And that is extremely, extremely bullish to see because you're putting your name out there, you're putting your face out there, like you put a lot on the line right there just by doing that. And it shows that you believe in your product and you care, and those are just two excellent things. So those are the main two things I would look for. It's a very present team as well as clear value prop. I guess like if you want to dip your toe into DePIN, there's a bunch of different bandwidth sharing DePINs. You can download browser extensions. I'm running 6 of them right now on my computer. Nice. Yeah, exactly. And they're all free to download. You can just literally tap a button, share your bandwidth, and that's it. If you want to, get involved, that's one way to get involved. There's phone applications to download. There's a number of things you can do that are very low cost, low friction versions of DePIN to get involved with and just kind of feel it out and see if you want to get involved and go a step further. And then the next stage would be to get involved in the hardware projects, get involved in Dabba Network, get involved in Helium, get involved in these clear use case utility projects that, might bring a ton of value to your life. And so that's kind of like my recommendations, what to look out for, as well as maybe how to get started in DePIN.
Nice. Web3 is great. It helps with the payment rails. It helps with incentive structures. It helps with decentralizing the entire infrastructure network itself. But what is the core is there a product that people are using? And I think, yes, just like you said, that is especially if you're getting into DePIN, that is a very, very important thing to keep in mind. So this creates a nice segue to my next question, which is, you got into Dabba. Now you're a Dabba ambassador. You host, our DePIN Spaces. You create content. We're so grateful to have a creator like you as an ambassador on the network. So my real question is, we have this managed deployment model, right? Which means you can be anywhere in the world. It gets deployed for you using it over here. So what kind of gave you that confidence? What made you want to ape into Dabba?
I guess so. Obviously, we talked in consensus. We met a consensus, and you gave me kind of like the Dabba pitch and like what it was all about. And that was the moment I started like asking questions. And so I went online, of course, afterwards. Did a lot of research. Basically, found your videos, and then looked up just different stats in India. And then I realized, like, the light bulb clicked when I was like, how many Indians don't have internet access or, like, reliable internet access? And Google was like, oh, like 675 million. And I was like, whoa, what? I was like, that is a lot of people. And I was like, there's definitely a demand here. And so that was, like, the first thing that really clicked for me was this is probably one of the most, and I don't want to like be like I guess fantastical, but this is like the most like I guess plus EV thing I could get involved with, or like possibly parabolic DePIN project I can get involved with, because there is just so much unmet demand here, and they are building out supply as fast as they can. And I was like, that's always a good sign that you have customers that are just like, hey, I want this, can you give it to me sooner? And you're like, we're trying we're trying to get there. So I just that was like the main reason. And then the secondarily it was kind of for the more virtuous reason of just helping people who desperately need internet access. Like you talked about this before on one of your videos, I think, where you have India has this growing population, like so fast, and very young population too. And so you have so many people who will be using more and more internet like over time, and more data. And they can't keep relying on these cell phone towers. They're not cutting it. Like this is just not the right way to go about things. And so you're helping possibly the next generation of teenagers get into college and like do remote school or have a remote job or something via the Dabba network. You're helping people live their online lives. Like we take it for granted here in the US. Like we all have online identities. We have an online presence, whereas 675 million people in India don't have an online presence. They don't have the online identity or the luxuries that come with it. And so I'm helping those people achieve that. So that's the way I look at it. Is one, I'm gonna hopefully make a large like portion of revenue, or like add on to my passive income streams that I love building. But two, I'm also helping a lot of people and doing a good.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stats about India that people just don't realize, and there's so many fun stats that I like to point out. Like, for example, like the number of people on social media in India is greater than the population of North America, right?
Yeah.
Just people on social media. 65% of our population is under the age of 35 or 40, right? So
that's wild.
Right? And we have this booming middle class, and we just crossed Japan in GDP, right? We became the fourth, largest economy after Japan, which is nuts. Japan has over 90% broadband penetration, and they're behind us in terms of GDP. We have 5% broadband penetration. Right?
That's what I'm talking about. Lots of opportunity.
Right?
85% opportunity right there.
Right? And like when you just compare these stats, it's just mind blowing. Yes, altruism is great. Make sustainable models. That's the only way this is gonna last, right? This is the only way this will last generations. It's not just providing something that people need, the end consumer, but rewarding everyone who's helping make that happen, right? You make sure you cover all of these bases, and you have a strong network. I think that is very, very important.
I think, like you said, sustainable models, sustainable tokenomics, sustainable, everything involved in business practices, I should say. But also clear communication with your community is so key. And you guys nailed that on the head. Like I said, I mean, your videos are excellent. Your Twitter presence is amazing. Like you're all there. You're all on Twitter, and you're all talking all the time. And the spaces are awesome too. I mean, we talk about lots of awesome different topics there. So I think communication with you guys is so crystal clear that there's no misunderstandings ever. If someone has a misunderstanding, I'm usually just like, hey, listen, did you watch the videos, or like even listen to a space? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and I mean, props to you also for really holding the DePIN space. I think that space has come so far from where it started to where it is now. I would say pretty much one of the premier DePIN spaces right now on
100%,
X, which is a huge prop to you as the host of this space and really taking this forward. Making sure that you're constantly behind the community and telling, just rallying everyone, saying that this is
With
what
those
we're
clear
doing, this is the
communications
direction.
too, you're controlling the narrative. Like you write the narrative and you say, hey, listen, like this is what we were planning on doing. There's no way to misunderstand this at all in the way we're describing it. And then everyone's on board. And back to the DePIN spaces. I love those spaces so much because you guys champion this idea that I have of just like talking, just having regular everyday conversations. It's not a shill fest. We talk about real things, like real issues or real achievements in the space. There's just so much alpha there for people to listen in on and learn and just see that, hey, we are real people trying to build real businesses. And then they can get behind that and say, you know what, I like these Dabba network spaces so much, I'm going to check out Dabba network and I'm going to look into what they're doing, because they seem to value honesty and they seem to value real conversations and real community, and which we do. So
Exactly. And I think we kind of hit that nail from day one.
Yeah.
Just taking that kind of approach has grown the space, right? Because people know they're not coming to a space to be sold something. They're coming to a space to get valuable information. And you've done an amazing job with that. So props to you. And I can't wait to see where the DePIN spaces go in the future. And latching onto that sentiment, coming to a close. My next question is more on, what is your thoughts on the direction we are going as a space in terms of DePIN and Dabba? Like, what does the future look like to you?
the future looks like to me where Dabba, the model you've taken, this kind of hands-off, dashboard approach to DePIN, becomes the standard. You guys are trendsetters. I think that more DePINs will look to Dabba, especially after TGE and especially after they see, all these hotspots deployed, and how successful you are, and say, oh, wow, we should do something similar, like to what they're doing, because you've created a way to provide so much value at like no friction. Like there's almost zero friction. Like, and I'm blown away by that, because obviously when it comes to DePIN deployment, the main friction is, oh, I have to go out and install this thing, or I have to go out and sell this thing. And that it's hard. It's really hard. So when you completely remove that from the people who are getting involved in buying these hotspots, you create so much ease of access, and like all of a sudden you have this parabolic growth where I think at some point in the future you guys won't be able to sell enough hotspots. You're gonna sit there and say, well, listen, like we've maxed out. Like, sorry, we know you want to get in here. But we're still working on deploying these guys. We'll get back to you. And I think that's going to be your problem, is like not being able to sell enough hotspots. Like on the upside, like on the opposite end of like you have so much demand and like not enough supply. And so I think that's the future for Dabba, just being trendsetters, having people come to you, which I'm assuming you've already had tons of projects come to you and say, how are you doing this? I want to do something similar. Because I think that's the future of DePIN. The future of DePIN is not. And I say this a lot. I say this a lot, especially recently, where decentralization is not that important when it comes to DePIN. Like, I think decentralization is great in the sense of network effect, in the sense of spreading as many nodes as you can. But when it comes to managed deployments, obviously you have like more centralized control there, and you have more like central entities working in together essentially. And I see that as the future for DePIN, where it becomes more of a, again, democratized, distributed business model, not necessarily, oh, let's maximize decentralization and give all the control to all the participants, and then someone fat fingers a vote, and then the whole thing falls apart. And I don't believe in that model. I think the Dabba model is the future. Again, I think you will be the standard for DePIN. Dabba Network will be the standard.
High praise, sir, and that's a future I am excited to be a part of as well. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, what are your closing thoughts for the community? Tell the guys out there, what you're excited about, and what they should be excited about as well.
To the community, definitely, if you haven't tuned in to the DePIN Spaces, definitely do that. We're live every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. So definitely check us out there on Twitter. Keep your head held high. Try to buy as many hotspots as you can, and just be excited, man. Be super excited, because you're involved in something incredible. We're all involved in something incredible, and I could not be more excited. And if you want to buy more hotspots, be sure to use my referral code. Hit me up with the TM. Use my referral code. That'd be much appreciated. But all jokes aside, seriously, guys, I love being a part of this community. Cheers to all of us, because this is going to be an incredible year for us. And like I said before in the podcast, Dabba Network will be the standard for DePIN. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yes, sir. And how can anyone find you across the social verse? Where can they find you?
So I'm primarily on Twitter. You can find me at my tag. It's William Ross X _. I decided to change it so people understood how to spell it better, because it was really tough to spell the other one, because people didn't understand how to spell the word marauder for some reason. So yeah, it's William Ross X _ on Twitter. I also have a TikTok and a YouTube channel that I'm starting to push content out on. I focus a little less on DePIN there, but more on like passive income streams. So DePIN is talked about, and I describe DePIN on those channels, but it's definitely more broad about just more how to add passive income streams to your life. So the TikTok and the YouTube are still under my old tag, ISLE Marauder. That's ISLEMARAUDER. Both of those. So yeah, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube are what I'm primarily on.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here, folks, from William himself. A pleasure, sir, to have you on. Always fun to talk to you, whether it's in Spaces, on these calls, or on the Discord. Thank you so much. Guys, make sure to follow him on Twitter, TikTok, all his socials. Make sure to join in on the DePIN Spaces. It's always a good time, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Later.